quick look at the forces. In the Apocalypse War Squad, we've got Judge Nolan. He's got a extra Solve rifle. Judge Sinclair's got a Solve pistol, and both of these have got their standard Justice Department loadout gear. We've got City Def Trooper Clower, who's also got a Kalashnikov 99 rifle. The City Def Trooper Schultz, who's just got his basic City Def gear, which is a spit gun. A Punk, Nikita, who's got a long rifle. So, think of it like a Lee Enfield 303, and a Punk, Watson, who's got a medikit and a pistol. And over on the Klegg Invasion Force, they've got their commander, a couple of Kleggs, and a couple of Klegg hounds, and a mercenary Robodoc, which they have recruited and encouraged to join their group. Right. So what are we doing for this scenario? Basically we're doing a sweep and clear mission, which is just kill the opposition. Because we're playing in a kind of ongoing campaign, the standard morale rules for Judge Dredd, there's no rules really for running away or bottling out like there is in the old Necromunda games. Individual models can fail will to fight checks under some circumstances, but mostly gangs don't run away until they've taken 75% casualties, and that's pretty hard when you're ending up rolling for significant chance of death or serious injury. So we're looking at changing the morale rules back to something possibly a bit closer to the Necromunda style, where you start taking morale tests when you start suffering casualties, and individual gangers might decide that falling back and seeking reinforcements, or in Justice Department terminology, awaiting backup, is the order of the day. So yeah, this does come into effect later on. Right, here's a board overview. This is Al's collection of, or part of Al's collection of laser cut terrain. We've got some Antonicity's workshop, hex pool tables, bunch of furniture, some vehicles. I think some of this stuff might be Impudent Mortals, and there's some CNC vehicles. CNC, an Australian company, group of guys who make some stuff. I've patched this together from a couple of shots, hence the dividing line down the middle and the slightly distorted perspective, but this just gives you a quick overview of all the pieces that are going into play. Alright, so let's get on to the deployments. So I won the role for deployment, which means I get to choose the side and then deploy first. So here we've got Judge Nolan, Trooper Schultz and Sergeant Clower, and this slightly blurry shot shows that Nikita is in the building, where she'll stay for the entire game, because it's not a bad spot, and while she may look tough, she's really just a kid with a gun. Over on the other side we've got Klegg and a couple of Klegg hounds, and there's the Robo-Doc. And Al joked with me when he said, is it a doc or is that a chef? Maybe in the Klegg language the word for physician and cook are the same, or at least synonymous. Over on the other side we've got the Klegg commander and the Klegg. Now, I think I win the roll for first turn, so I start moving up. And Judge Sinclair and Watson, who'd been deployed behind that building further down on the left, they run forward at the double and take up a position behind that building. Sergeant Clower runs forward in support and takes position behind the forklift truck and container, and you can see there Trooper Schultz and Judge Nolan moving up from their position behind. Nikita stays on overwatch in the building. In response, Boss Clegg sidles left and draws a bead on Judge Sinclair and opens fire and hits him, and he takes 2 wounds from the heavy stubber slug damage. That's okay because he's right next to Dr. Watson, and Dr. Watson can patch him with his medipack, and that'll come into play shortly. The second Clegg then runs forward to there. Again, he's focusing on Judge Sinclair, and he's got good cover. In fact, I think behind the crates there's not really much of a shot. On the other side, the Kleggs go and move forward into position. So the Apocalypse War survivors are in danger of being enveloped on this side, because those Kleggs are pretty fast, and the Klegg hounds are quite good in close combat, which is good because they don't have any guns, so they're no good at range. So, Apocalypse War turn 2, Sergeant Clower whips around from behind his crate, scuttles over to a window and draws a clean bead on one of the Klegg warriors, and in a rapid burst of fire takes him out in one go. And that's quite prodigious because Kleggs have typically 6+ wounds and rate of fire for gun doing 2 damage per penetrating hit each. Yeah, good roll, well done, Sergeant. First blood to him. Clegg down. Kleggs haven't taken 25% casualties yet, so no morale test at this point. Judge Sinclair moves into the building and snaps off a shot at the Klegg commander, and I think this time he used an incendiary bullet. Incendiary bullets are have a persistent fire effect, so if you're hit, even if the armor saves you from the initial, you are on fire and can keep burning or have to spend turns rolling around trying to put the fire out or anything like this. So Judge Sinclair hits the Klegg commander, doesn't penetrate his armor, but does splash him with burning incendiary material. So yeah, he's in trouble. Right, next turn, the Kleggs strike back. So the Klegg flanking force attacks. One Klegg hound rushes in on Sergeant Clower and gives him a biting. The other Klegg hound rushes in on Judge Nolan and gives him a biting. Both of those characters take 2 wounds. Fortunately, they're about 3rd or 4th level, and they've got 4 wounds, so they're wounded but not down. The other Klegg trooper takes a shot at Trooper Schultz but misses, and this triggers an overwatch or alert status shot back from Nikita, who manages to score a critical hit on the Klegg, and he takes 2 wounds, which in Klegg terminology is, I guess, a scratch. And here we have the Klegg commander. He takes a loop around up on the hill and up on top of the platform, and takes another shot at Judge Sinclair. You can see down the bottom there that Judge Sinclair has only now taken 1 wound because Dr. Watson is now standing next to him and slapping bandages and anticoagulant or coagulants and all sorts of nanomed potions and things onto him to instant heal the damage. And now, probably the climax turn of the game. So, first things first. Trooper Schultz charges over at the Klegg, engaging Judge Nolan, and with the bonus attacks for charging and the bonus for having a friend already in the fight, he manages to defeat the Klegg and kicks it back 2 inches, which takes it, or an inch, which takes it back out of contact with Judge Nolan, thus freeing the judge up to act other than do fighting with the Klegghound. Then Sergeant Clower goes. He uses his karate or martial arts skills and chops the Klegghound to pieces with his bare hands with his first action, then turns around and shoots the other Klegghound, which had just been knocked out of close combat with Judge Nolan by Trooper Schultz. That's 2 Klegghounds down. Then Nikita fires in another shot hitting the Klegg, and then Judge Nolan moves a little bit to get a clear shot and then fires at the Klegg and putting him down as well. And at this point the Kleggs have now lost 4 out of 6 models and are now left with a Robodoc and their commander. Both of these 2 models take a morale test and both pass. The Robodoc going, I don't know what's going on, I'm hiding behind a crate in the corner. It never moved. Okay. And then the Justice Department move up and Sergeant Clower moves around to that side. The Dr. Watson moves across to the other side. Both of them are hiding behind that crate. And Judge Nolan moves into position. Judge Sinclair manages to hit the Klegg commander with a gas bullet doing critical damage, inflicting 2 points of damage to him, so he's now about half wounded. And then in return the Klegg commander fires back, and using a mixture of high explosive and normal fire, takes down both of Sergeant Clower and Dr. Watson. So now the Justice Department have to take a test on their morale, and the 2 models who convincingly aren't in this shot both fail their morale tests and decide to leave. So now it's down to 2-1. 2 veteran judges against 1 Klegg commander. And the issue comes fairly quickly to an end because Judge Sinclair manages to fire another gas bullet right into the face of the Klegg commander, and that puts him out of action. Another critical gas. So gas ammunition ignores all armour, and if you don't have a respirator you just take damage if you're hit by it. If you have a respirator, like Justice Department personnel do, you are completely immune. So you're either in a lot of trouble or gold, depending upon what you are. Of course robots are immune to gas, but then, who shoots robots with gas bullets? Here's what happened. The Apocalypse War Squad rolls for injuries, and Dr. Watson, the medic, dies. PDF Trooper, Sergeant Clower, makes a full recovery with no beneficial rolls from the medic, who was too busy selfishly bleeding out on the floor to be able to help anybody else in the team. The two team members, Nikita and Sergeant Schultz, turn up again with a bit of a red face. Trooper Schultz at least had the excuse that he had run out of ammunition and couldn't actually do very much. We capture a new territory, another part of the now derelict Sylvester Stallone block, brings under control, gives me some additional territory to loot, and there's an option of getting some bits of free gear. The Kleggs, the Robodoc saves the most seriously injured Klegg from needing to go to a medical role. A couple of the Kleggs suffer minor injuries, like reductions in agility, which, given Kleggs were already crap at dodging anyway, isn't such a big deal. But they're still up and going. And one Klegg hound, I think, suffered a bit of a sore foot, so maybe he'll be a bit limping. As losers, the Kleggs don't get any territory this time, but yes, they're still doing quite well and are still quite a powerful gang in our campaign. So yeah, another successful, fun afternoon playing. It inspired Al to dig out the Kleggs and get some paint onto them. They are now coming along really nicely. So next time you see them on the table, should all be painted. Great. Thanks for listening. Congratulations to anybody who's still made it this far. Bye.